Now, how about sound? Now that I'm 30 minutes into it, I just turned the microphone on. All right, so let me know if you can hear me. I am in San Miguel de Allende. It is my favorite getaway spot in Mexico City, from Mexico City. So I'm super excited to be here. My girlfriend is here for a month, so I'm here with her for a couple of days, and then she'll be here, and then she's headed back home. But super excited to be here. She really hooked me up. Really, really hooked me up. She has a huge house out here, and so for the time I'm here, I have the entire top floor. So I have a bedroom and an office and a little. I'm in a little. You can see the patio outside. That's my patio, and I'm in a little like living room area. So I've got a bathroom, a bedroom, two bedrooms. One I can use as an office, but who needs an office? Um, Gorgeous patio. I would be outside in the patio right now, but the sun is real direct, and I didn't feel like having that on top of me. Okay, so here today to talk about. Sorry, let me get this worked out. Oof. Here today to talk about if Mexico is as cheap as people expect it to be, specifically Americans, and I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to say no, it's not. But I did want to talk about why that is. Hey, Colette, if you're watching on the replay, hey, friends who don't know me. I'm Rashida. I go by Sheeta D online. I talk about career breaks, early retirement, getting your money right to live your best life, and living and traveling around the world. So, hi, that's what I do here. Thank you for being here with me. Today, like I said, I'm not in my own home, so it's a little bit of an odd setup. Like I forgot to turn on the microphone because I don't turn it on at home because it's always on. But today we're talking about Mexico, because I live in Mexico. I live in Mexico City, and this is about whether Mexico is as cheap. So I tell everyone in Mexico, if you plan on moving to Mexico, like don't move. You can move here with the expectations that it might be cheaper than where you live. But a lot of people move here expecting Mexico to be like dirt cheap. And I think that's American propaganda. I think for a long time, as Americans, we have been hearing that, like, besides like the beach, there's nothing in Mexico and everyone is poor, and you can get like a gigantic casa for like $2, and like that. It's just kind of like the American way of like acting like America is bigger and more prosperous and more substantive than every country, and every country is just like everything else is like nah, right? Like there's nothing really in Mexico outside of the beach. Is kind of a vibe, which I think America does to a lot of countries. Like there's nothing really there. Why would you go there when you could be in Texas? Um, and so a lot of people come to Mexico and they get sticker shock because they're like, it costs how much to do what? To buy what? What's happening here? And so if you're thinking of coming down to Mexico for a long time, I think this is an important conversation to have about the price of things, because you will be shocked. So I'm going to talk about specific prices of a few things. Sorry, I'm trying to get to my comments on my computer because I'm streaming. That's the word, streaming from my phone, and I don't usually do that. So let's get this happening. Okay, so yeah. The things in Mexico that are typically cheap, let's start there. And if you have experience in Mexico, if you've lived here, not vacation, because that's a completely different thing. Child, I just got my computer back from the I just got my computer back from the Mac store, and so everything I haven't opened before, I'm opening like it's the first time. So wait with me. Yes, Mike Just says America loves to devalue brown and black people. Yes, they do. I think I saw our Black Utopia said an older Mexican American friend asked if we were retiring in Mexico because we could not afford to retire here, and I'm thinking it ain't that cheap. No, it's not. It's not. It's typically, depending on what you're looking for and what kind of life you want in Mexico, it can be cheaper. but for a lot of us, it's not going to be. And there are a few reasons why. One of them is that, all right, I think I'm here now. I got the comments going. One of them is that Mexico, okay, so Joan said some people assume that you can live here comfortably on their Social Security check for $1,000 per month, and you can't. I think you can live in Mexico for $1,000 a month. It depends on what your idea of comfortable is. Joan's idea of comfortable and my idea of comfortable don't cost $1,000 a month. I'll tell you that. But I know there are people living in Mexico for $1,000 a month. You can do that, but you're not going to be living like a plush lifestyle, which is what some people assume. Mexico is so cheap that I can come down here with no money and I'll be just fine. And it's like, no, baby, that's not going to work out the way you expect it to. So the reason that Mexico is as cheap as you expect it to be and also not is that it doesn't really have a strong middle class. There isn't a strong and prosperous middle class in Mexico. It's smaller proportionately than America's, as far as I know, in my experience. And so there's a lot of poverty and a lot of concentrated wealth. And so if you are doing business at the same places that the people who are living in Mexican poverty are doing business, Mexico's going to be as cheap as you want it to be. But if you don't want that, if you're looking for like what you would consider in the US a middle class lifestyle, you're not going to be getting these rock bottom prices, right? You're going to be getting like prices you would see in the US, sometimes cheaper, sometimes a lot more for the exact same thing. And so you need to know what kind of lifestyle you're getting and what kind of lifestyle you want before you come down here and to have an idea of like how your money's gonna go. So let me get back to the comments. Hey Tiva, you caught it live. All right. So no real middle class to speak of. Very, 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 very wealthy people. I've said this before, like the people who came a long time ago, right? And stole all the gold from the indigenous people, the colonizers, they won the war, right? And so this land, that is here now is filled with people whose parents came here and colonized the land and took all the resources. And they still have that wealth. It's still around. Still prosperous. Okay, Jenny Hammond says, you have to go to the right spot for it to be cheap. You can't go to where all the other gringos go. I'll be living on $400 a month there. I don't know where Jenny is living for $400 a month. And Jenny, this is not shade. I'm not even coming at you like that. But like, I don't know anywhere like in Mexico City, because it's not a cheap city compared to other cities. There's nowhere I could live by myself, maybe with roommates for $400 in a place I would consider livable, right? If I wanted a place that I would meet my living standards, I'm not gonna get that for not even like my whole monthly expenses, but not even rent. Than for like $400. That's just not happening in Mexico City. In other smaller towns, you will be better off living at like a very low price per month or a very low amount per month. But some things are just not gonna find. I saw in a group the other day, someone said something like, oh, you can find an apartment in Mexico City for $300. And I was like, first of all, you can drive for 2 hours and still be in Mexico City. So if you're talking like 2 hours, right? Especially if you hit traffic, you can drive for a long time and still be in the city. So if you're talking about like way out on the outskirts, possibly you can find something for $300. but you're not really in the city. Like if I got to drive that far to get there, or if I got like, I don't think you're going to find nice places for $300 a month. Let's talk about what's cheap and what's not, because you guys are really going into it. Let's get into the comments, and it's good. All right. Services. Yes, labor is generally pretty cheap in Mexico. You can find, it's such a contentious issue. Okay, so labor can be very, very cheap. And for American immigrants coming to the country, there's often like a dilemma, right? So some people are of the opinion that like if the average labor price is an example, this is not me, it's not what I pay, but just an example. 400 pesos for 8 hours of cleaning. That is $20 for 8 hours of cleaning. It's just an example. Then some people will say that's exploitive and I need to pay more. Some Americans do that. It's exploitive, I need to pay more, whatever. And then some people will say you can't pay more because that ruins it for the Mexicans who are hiring the same labor services, who are of the same labor market. It raises the price for the people who've been here. You've become a gentrifier, and you're raising the labor prices because you're paying them more. And so it's a very difficult conversation, and I don't see people talking about it with the nuance that it requires and deserves a lot. But do you come in and pay what you consider an exploitive rate, or do you come in and pay more and jack up the labor market for people who were able to afford labor before? So it's complicated. Same thing goes for like buying product, like any products you buy, like in a market, or renting places. It's the same kind of thing. In a lot of groups, I'm seeing people come in and say like, I want to come to Mexico City, I want to move here, but I want to pay under like $5,000 a month. Now, because I've told people what they're willing to pay, they're probably going to get charged $5,000 for like a $2,000 apartment, because you just announced to everyone what you're willing to spend. And so that, yes, jacks up the market. But there's a way to move in a country as an immigrant and not screw things up. It's very difficult, and you really have to do like what makes sense for you in a situation. None of these situations are going to be identical, and so it's something to think about, but I don't have the answers for that. I'll tell you, my cleaning lady travels 2 hours to come to my home, cleans for 4 hours, and then travels 2 hours back home. And she's never cleaned just for 4 hours. It's always like an hour, like 4.5, I got to be like, you need to leave. You have been here all day. Please go away. Like, I love you. Come back next week. But like your cleaning time is over. I pay you for 4 hours and you're hitting 5 right now. Please leave. Right? So I typically pay her a little bit more. But not so much that it's like going to ruin things for other people. More than she asks. My typical approach to things here is I don't haggle with people, generally. I might get dramatic. You tell me the price. Child, Adelia and I went to a furniture store the other day, and I knew being dramatic wouldn't work, but I almost passed out on the floor when I saw some of these prices. And so like, if the price I think is like way off, I might say like, maybe like, can you take it down? At the first no, I'm like, okay, well then either I want it at the price you're selling or I don't. But even typically I don't do that. You tell me a price, either I want it at that price or I don't. If I don't want it, I'm like, okay, bye. If you're open to haggling and you call me back for a different price, then cool. But if you're not open, like you have to be the one to start the negotiation. I'm not really negotiating with you because your price is your price. I'm not here trying to like negotiate you down. It's a price. If I don't want it for the price you're charging, I'm just not going to buy it. No, I don't think a VPN would give you, I have never found an apartment online, right? I don't know what a VPN, it's not like a Craigslist kind kind of thing. So I don't know if searching with a VPN would help you. Like I had to go in person and see things and meet people. But yeah, so 2 hour, because there's an excess of labor, a 2 hour commute is normal. Like when I talk to someone the other day and they lived like 15 minutes from where they worked, and I was like, really? You do? Like, tell me more about this. I've been to the Apple Store a lot. I went to the Apple Store a lot, and I always ask them, because like they're doing, I would say probably better than a lot of the people working in Mexico. Like it's not like a top tier job, but it's not, you know, they're not. Mexico has a lot of people who do like manual labor for the city that doesn't even seem necessary. Like they plant the flowers in the middle of the road, and then a month later, it's a time for a new season, so they dig them all up and plant new ones. Like that kind of stuff that most cities wouldn't do because it would seem like a waste. They do a lot of that here. So, yeah, I don't do that. Because labor is abundant like that, there are long commutes, 2 hours are normal. So, TL says it's haggling their culture. I was told in Morocco that's how you go about buying anything, it's their way. Okay, so I find that in haggling places, if they ask me the price and I say no thank you, they start the negotiation. Like when I was in Egypt, that's what happened. Every time they're like, wait. What if it was lower, right? And that's what I would expect to happen in Morocco. In Mexico, that almost never happened. And I don't know, I will also say that in Mexico, I think there are two different economies. There's the local economy, and then there's like the gringo, right? Like, I think people may not be as willing to negotiate with me as they might be willing to negotiate with someone they think is local, right? They think if you're here, you have the money to spend, so spend it with me or don't, right? I looked at flowers the other day, and what I was looking for was more expensive than I expected it to be. So I was like, no thanks. And she was like, okay. Like there's no back and forth. When I was looking at furniture, I went to the home market. They told me their prices. Not one person was like, how about 50 pesos off? Not a single person attempted. So okay. If y'all not haggling, I'm not headed in that direction with you. All right. Okay, what's expensive, what's not? Labor is cheap. I saw that RM said expensive homes areas are probably less expensive compared to expensive homes in cities, and that's probably it. Not really. I told y'all I ended up unexpectedly in a $6,500 apartment. Looking around like, baby, I don't belong here. $6,500 US a month for an apartment that was bigger than I need, but not like in LA or San Francisco, I might have been able to get the same thing for cheaper. So yes, housing, I think it's going to be cheaper at sometimes and more expensive at sometimes. Housing is one of those things that kind of sways depending on what you're looking at, where it is, what the demand is, and where you're coming from and what you're comparing it to. But some of the housing here, I'm like, I told you the rich people here are like you know how you think like, oh yeah, like Bill Gates is rich, but it's not really quantifiable. Like, what does that really mean? Like Bezos has money, but like, I can't really imagine how much money that is. Well, there's no Bezos down here. There are some that are like touching the hem of his garment. One of the guys who used to live in Mexico City was 10, 20 years ago the richest man in the world. Like there's a lot of money here. So things aren't necessarily, yes, and so Adelia's point, 6,500 is not the top of the market. It just happens to be an apartment I stumbled into because of where it was. I thought it might be affordable, and then I was like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. I was like, where's the exit? How do I get out of this? Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. Labor's cheap. Housing can vary. Products that are imported are crazy expensive. Like, don't make sense expensive. Adelia and I went to IKEA this week. And we were walking around like, this can't cost as much in the US. Because, like, I shopped at IKEA, not regularly, but IKEA didn't feel expensive in the US. And I know my idea, of what is like pricing has changed. You know, like our idea of what's expensive and what is inexpensive changes as we change in life and where we move and where we live and what our life looks like in the moment. These things change. But I was there like, they can't be charged. Both Adelia and I were like, this don't make no sense. Okay, so I went to IKEA's website in the US this morning. I went to IKEA's US in Mexico this morning. And you know that Kallax, the square, y'all know the square shelving that IKEA sells, that everybody has, where it has like the squares. It's like in white and brown. So I looked at the one that's 2x2, so two, the bookcase, 2 holes at the top, 2 holes at the bottom. In Mexico, it is, or in the US, that 2x2 on the website is $44.95. In Mexico, now these are both imported, right? Because I don't think IKEA has factories in the US. I think they're all imported to US, imported to Mexico. In Mexico, the exact same shelving is $76.33 in USD. So $44.95 in the US and $76 in Mexico. That is 69.81% higher. 69% higher for the exact same thing from the same company coming from the same place. Yes, for some painting cardboard. I was walking around. So Adelia and I was looking for a nightstand for my room. And we'd look at prices and be like, but it's not even wood. It's not even wood. This ain't even wood. I'm paying what? It's not even wood. Like, what's happening? We kept walking around like, what are these numbers? And we've been to IKEA before, but it's usually like little things. Like IKEA, the little things in IKEA, cheap. The snake plants I bought this week, they were $3 a piece. That's the cheapest I've seen snake plants anywhere, right? Those are grown here. They are locally sourced, I'm pretty sure. They're locally sourced. They're super cheap. I'm sure it's like a loss leader. But I got to pay how much? $76 for as little as 69% higher? Okay, so Lori asked a good question. Is it a higher cost for Mexico to get an item? Mexico does have import fees. I don't know. I can't say for sure that they are more higher than US import fees. But there are import fees, which is why it's hard for you to bring things into the country. Because if you come down here with 4 big suitcases, even if you've paid the way to get them here on the plane, whatever, customs in the Mexican airports are going to be like, and most of them are like, open your bags, show me what you got. If you got tags on anything, if you have 2 computers, they're going to be like, you have to pay. And I've heard that for laptops, what they do, if you have more than one, if they find out you have more than one, they charge you. I've heard 70 from someone who experienced it in Mexico City. They Google the make and model and charge you 70% of the price of that model in order to bring it into the country. 70% of a computer you already paid for. So, yeah. So things like electronics aren't going to be cheaper in any other place. Yeah. Enberger says 1 laptop is work and 1 is mine. They know that. They don't care, baby. They don't care. They literally don't care. So, uh, furniture I have found. Someone asked about like old, like big wood furniture. I have found in Mexico, your furniture is typically uncomfortable or expensive. Those are your options. What you picking? What you doing? I think I've told you guys before, but I went to like um, uh, I went to ba, 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 I want to say like 7 stores before I found my couch. It's just because everything else was uncomfortable. That's just what you do. Uncomfortable or expensive? Those are your options. What you gonna do? I found the perfect couch. It was in COVID times. I found the perfect couch. I'd been, because it was COVID times and stores had been closed, I'd been like, I had a air mattress in my bedroom that I was sleeping on, an air mattress in my living room that I'd be using as a couch. It was not classy, but whatever. Y'all know. We do what we gotta do. We move. Um, so um, I had perfect couch, found it, went to a furniture store. At the furniture store, they were like, it will take us 30 business days to get you this couch. Now, the other thing to know is that when you're told 30 business days, it's most likely going to be like 60 or 70 calendar days. They're like, we make them all from scratch. And I'm like, I believe you. I believe you're making this furniture custom. But I don't think I'm gonna get it in 30 days. I think I'm gonna be, if I do this, I'm going to be on the air mattress for like another 2 months. And I don't wanna do that anymore. So now I need to go to a place that has furniture in stock. And I found some at a department store. So yeah, so the furniture, I'm sitting on a very comfortable couch right now. I don't know where it came from, but I guarantee it's not cheap. A lot of furniture here feels like it is wood with like a very thin layer of batting and then cloth over it. It's just what it feels like. Um, yeah, someone's saying that the best furniture you can get in Mexico is the colonial style sturdy furniture and it's inexpensive. I don't like it. I don't want it. It's not for me. Mm-mm. Yeah. Uh, but different things, different places. Uh, yes, you can get wood furniture here cheaply. I don't want a wood couch with a few cushions, right? Like, I just don't. Thank you for the super chat, TL. Ooh, Portugal. You have to tell me when you're going because I'm going in May, maybe. Um, okay, so other things that are really expensive. We talked briefly about electronics because we talked about computers, but most electronics in Mexico are more expensive than in the U.S. There are cheaper electronics you can find, but if you want something from a brand you recognize, you're going to pay more. Even my TV, my TV was made, I think it was made in Mexico, and it was more expensive than buying like a brand name TV in a brand name TV in the US on Amazon. Okay, so I just got distracted by FDM because she said, I don't like the dark heavy wood furniture. I've seen a lot of Airbnb options. I don't want it for a visit, much less to live with. I don't even want it in the Airbnb. I don't. And so if you don't want those dark, and even the dark heavy wood options are not cheap. They're not cheap. They're not. They may be more expensive than some of the other options, but they're not cheap. Not in my sense of cheap, right? You're not buying like a $20 coffee table, right? You're paying for a wood table if you buy that. Okay, electronics. Everything at the Apple Store is more expensive. My TV was more expensive, and so I bought my TV on Amazon. It's a local brand, I think. Um, it's fell off the truck on its way to me from the Amazon warehouse to my apartment. It disappeared. It disappeared. I don't know where it went. Nobody knows where. Amazon was like, girl, if your TV don't show up tomorrow or in like 5 days, we'll send you another one. Like, we'll refund you because we don't know where your TV went. They're literally like, it's on the way. It's on the way. It'll be there by 3. It'll be there by 3. It'll be there by 3. And then after 3, it was like, TV? What TV? We don't know anything about that. We don't know anything about that. So even electronics can be more expensive and might disappear on you. Clothes. Adelia was a sweetheart this morning and sent me a link. Just a photo of like some pants from H&M. Pants, H&M. In the U.S., they're $24.95. In Mexico, they're $38. So $25 in the U.S., $38 in Mexico. 34% higher. So there are other places you can buy clothes, right? Mexico has a very, very good secondhand market for clothes, which if y'all remember when my suitcases got stolen, I know they're in a secondhand market somewhere. I saw a woman wearing one of my sweatshirts once. I don't know if it's the exact same thing because it's from Adidas, but I didn't buy it in Mexico. I bought it in another country. I saw a woman running down the street in it, and I wanted to be like, Miss Ma'am, can we talk about where you got that? But I was like, we're gonna let it flow. We're gonna let it go. This is such a sidebar. Sorry about this, y'all. Just the trauma came back real quick. But there's a great secondhand market, and that is where you can buy really, really cheap clothes. But they're used, right? If you go to a mall, you're going to see the same things you see in most American malls. You're going to see H&M. You're going to see Zara. Some malls have Forever 21s. You're going to see the same fast fashion stores. We've seen a lot of malls. You'll even see more of them. Mexico has a lot of like chain clothing stores, and you're gonna go in there and say, "This isn't. What are these prices? What's happening here? What's going on? Like, why is Zara talking about these numbers?" So H&M 34% higher for the exact same thing in Mexico, but in the U.S. If you want to buy things that you are already familiar with and accustomed to from a life in the U.S., you're probably going to pay a lot more money for those things than you would in the U.S. I went to Lagunia for furniture, Curcuma, and I was like, my first reaction was like, why is everything 4,000? Like every time I asked somebody the price, it was 4,000 pesos. It's 4,000 pesos. It's 4,000. For everything was 4,000 pesos. And I was like, I think I'm getting that gringo pricing. I think I'm getting gringo pricing. I don't know. But so 4,000 pesos is $200. Everything was either 3,000 or 4,000 pesos. I don't. Alicia says she loves secondhand shopping. It's literally just like the markets on the street. There's no name. There's no name. It's not like you're going to a thrift store. You're walking down the street and you see clothes on the side of the road. Maybe under some tents, you'll see some like clothes. But like, we're not talking about you're going to a store to get thrift clothes. No, it's like a market on the street. Maybe a vendor on the sidewalk. They do good business. Someone asked how I got my my suitcases were stolen. They were in storage with an old landlord. It's the kind of thing that would never happen to someone else. It was a big fluke. It's not even a story worth talking about here. A lot of people are like, oh, I need to know so it doesn't happen to me. Don't go to the US and get stuck there because you need to have emergency surgery on your knee and it won't happen to you. Like it's a very specific to me situation. Don't worry about it. But yes, if you were just being curious, I left stuff with the landlord for like 6 months and then I came back and they were like, Greta says she looked at West Elm and Crate and Barrel in Mexico City and online, and it's very expensive. Yes. I went into, what is West Elm's big brother? Pottery Barn. I went to Pottery Barn, and I was like, Why y'all playing with me? Why are y'all playing with me? I just want a couch. I just want a couch. And in West Down, they were like, this is the only one we have. Like, this is the only one in Mexico. So if you don't buy this one right now, we won't have another one of those in until we don't know. So like the supplies are lower and the prices are, the options are lower, like the different materials and colors. Prices are higher, options are lower, stock is lower. A mess. A mess, I say. Um, all right. Food, I saw your question, glass half full. Transportation is generally cheaper, generally. But it's also two classes of transportation: regular people transportation and like wealthy transportation. So if you want to take the bus, I love the bus in Mexico City, um, and the metro, cheap, right? 5 pesos for the train to go anywhere in the system, which is 25 cents. Yes, about 25 cents. About 7 pesos from um, about 7 pesos, so just like 32 cents maybe, for the bus. Super cheap. No transfers, but whatever. Super cheap from an outsider who was used to paying like the prices on BART to get into the city. It was like $3 a day or more. Or the toll to get to San Francisco, which last time I checked was like $7 a day. So like, yes, 25 cents on the bus, much better, right? And then Ubers are also reasonably cheap. But if you want like a private car, them Suburban's gonna run you just a little bit, just a little bit, right? Like if that's how you want to roll, they gonna run you. But you know, generally transportation is cheaper. In most places outside of the U.S., gas is just cheaper outside of the U.S. than it is almost anywhere, right? Unless we're shipping it in like tankers from another place it was imported to. It was, yeah, it's usually cheaper. Someone asked what bus I was on yesterday. I'm in San Miguel, so I took it was 5 hours by the time we got done. A 5 hour bus ride from, it's usually 4, but they had some stops and some things. Uh, 4 in 4 hour bus ride. It cost $25. Last time I did it, it was $20. I don't know what's going on. They're raising the rates, but it was $20. And yes, people were asleep. They knock out on that bus. I can't sleep around other people, so it's hard for me. But people knock out on that bus. Yeah. Someone said that the women in Playa del Carmen have private drivers. Adelia and I used a private driver the first time on Wednesday to go to IKEA. And it was not expensive. But like, we went to IKEA, we were there, I think we had him for 5 hours and we paid him $30. It wasn't expensive. But it was like a little Subaru hatchback. I'm saying like, if you want like the Suburban with a private driver that is with you all the time. Lots of people we know in town have them. We know lots of people who have them. But it's not like, labor's cheap, so it's got to be cheap to have a driver down here. Cheaper than where you are, probably, but not like cheap. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I went, so on Wednesday before I went to IKEA, we went to a local furniture store. The first thing we saw, like we walked in, the first thing we saw was, we were like, I looked at Adelia and I was like, look right there. So I'm whispering to her so the man don't hear us because I'm about to act up. I'm like, is that 18 or 8? And she was like, that's 8. So it was like a dresser, a used secondhand, like we can call it vintage. We can call it, it's just a used secondhand dresser, was $900. It was 18,000 something pesos. So we're just gonna call it $900. So there are going to be different furniture stores at different price points. The one I walked into on Wednesday had me like, take me to IKEA. And then I went to IKEA and I was like, these ain't even IKEA prices. I'm in IKEA and I'm still getting robbed. What's happening? What's going on here? What's happening? So, hey, Abba. Yes, things are not cheap. Okay, so what have we talked about that's inexpensive? We've talked about labor. We've talked about labor's. I'm stuck on labor. Labor's inexpensive comparatively. Um, Housing can be depending on where you go and what you want from where you live. I am in a. I paid half of what I used to pay, less than half of what I used to pay in rent when I lived in the Bay Area. But I live in a different type of neighborhood. If I lived in the type of neighborhood I lived in the Bay Area, my rent would probably be the same. I'd probably be paying the same amount I paid in the Bay Area. To have the same amenities, that's the thing. To have the same amenities and the same type of location, I'd probably be paying the same price in Mexico City as I paid in Oakland. Okay, labor's cheaper, transportation is cheaper generally. The housing can be, depending on what you're looking for. Um, but like anything you import, anything brand name, like a brand name, food is cheap. Food generally, if you're shopping at the markets, right? Like if you're shopping at an outdoor market for fresh fruits and vegetables, cheaper, hands down, boom, done. Um, but if you are not, if you're, if that's not what you want to do, if you want like the everyday, if you depend on what grocery store, like if you're going to a grocery store and you're buying, what I bought the other day that was crazy expensive was baking powder because they only had, no, baking soda. It was baking soda. I bought both, but baking soda was really hard to find and expensive. Why? Where's the Arm & Hammer? It's just nowhere, just nowhere. I bought this little like cute box and it was ridiculous. Um, a mess. All right. Latoya said, I just want to thank you for your content. I'll be moving to CDMX next month and couldn't have done it without the content of Black women I found on YouTube. You're appreciated. Thank you, Latoya. I hope you love your move. I hope you love your move. Yes, Greta, you can get a studio apartment in Mexico City. I saw my friend had one in Condesa as it's an Airbnb, but it was really really cute. It was big and really cute. It was um, a studio, but like there was like a living. The rooms were separate, but there was no wall. There's no wall to the bedroom, so I still consider it a studio. There's no door, or whatever. Um, Abba says if you need the bougie market, like if you're going to the Whole Foods like market because you need something, it's close to the same price. Yeah. Adelia says, does anyone know how much steel cut oats from Bob's Red Mill is in the US? It cost her $15 in Mexico. Yeah, I bought the other day when I was looking for baking soda, they tried to show me some like Bob's Red Mill something, and I was like, these prices don't make sense. Please move around. Like I see you're trying to be helpful, but this is not what I want. Kurkuma mentioned 3 stores where you can buy furniture: Casa Palacio, Sears, or Liverpool. They're pricier, but they get the job done, and you can get it the same day. I got my couch at Liverpool, and I got my bed at Liverpool, and I got my guest bed from Sears. So, yeah, I went to department stores, and I've never bought, that I remember, bought furniture at department stores before, because like there's always a furniture store that is super easy, but not here. The furniture stores are like we made this in the backyard right here real quick, or look at all of these beautiful fabrics. We'll get it to you in 6 months and it will cost you $6,000 for an ottoman. Hi. Like that, those are truly like the options that I have found in the city. Or IKEA, which now you know you're paid more for, feels like, why? Why? So it's easy, like I said, IKEA is easy to pick up knickknacks. Like I bought a whisk and a mixing bowl. I was going to go to Williams-Sonoma to get those things because I don't know local kitchenware stores. And I feel like looking it up, and I can walk to Williams-Sonoma from where I live. And Vandalia talked about me. You're going to Williams-Sonoma to buy it. She's a hater, I tell you. Give me a second. I have tea, but I haven't been drinking, and I should be drinking because I've got a cough. Okay. So Stephanie mentioned vanilla extract. You can buy local Mexican vanilla. The prices compared to US vanilla, beautiful. Beautiful. I want to check to see in Williams-Sonoma. I thought about that a couple days ago. I want to go there and see how much of the vanilla I buy in the States. You know that, I think it's a French brand. It's a bougie French vanilla brand, but they sell at Williams-Sonoma. I want to see how much that costs in Mexico because I think I'm out of vanilla. So I want to buy Mexican vanilla again, but I don't know what I like really high quality kitchen products, whether that's kitchenware or food ingredients. Bougie me up in the kitchen, please and thank you. And so I'm on the search to figure out what a high quality Mexican vanilla is, right? And also what the price of the bougie vanilla I used to get in the States is here, because I think I might have a heart attack. We'll see. All right. Okay, so Kokroma said, don't pack towels or bed linens. It's not worth it. I think people would debate you about the linens thing because a lot of sheets here are not great and don't feel good. Okay, so I bought the best place I found to buy sheets in town when I was shopping and what I was looking for was Costco. But sheets at Costco, I was like, boom, done. Because at the department stores, I was like, these numbers, what are these numbers? I don't understand. At Costco, I was like, all right, fine, cool. My mom, and then on Amazon, just cut off your right hand and mail it to Amazon if you want to buy sheets and towels in Mexico compared to the prices in the US. So my mom brought me sheets. I now have 2 sets of sheets on my bed. This is, y'all getting all the info. I have 2 sets of sheets for my bed after a year. I only had 1 for a year. I would strip the bed on Friday morning, put them in the washing machine. By the time she was like, my cleaning lady was almost done, they would be ready to come out of the dryer and she'd put them back on, boom, boom, boom. Now I got 2 sheets. I'm doing a lot now. I got 2 sets. The set I bought in the US and the set I bought, or my mom brought me from the US, and the set I bought from Costco, different world. Like I don't keep track of what sheets are on the bed when, but I can get in bed and know, oh, I'm in the US sheets now. I'm in the US sheets. Like these feel good. Like it feels like butter. And then I get in the Mexican sheets, or sheets I bought at Costco here, and I'm like, these don't feel like butter. I hear all around the Airbnbs I've stayed in that have like regular sheets they get here, it's not that comfortable. I don't need bougie sheets, but I can tell the difference from bougie sheets and not bougie sheets. And the sheets my mom brought were from Amazon, but like they would have been twice the price on Amazon here. Twice the price reminds me, y'all know I love a segue. Let's scooch over. I was telling you guys I wanted a humidifier and a air purifier. I saw one at Dyson, but it was like $900, and Adelia got to hating again. I cannot go out with her. She's a hater. I just want this $900 Dyson fan, air purifier, and humidifier in one, and here she go, hating, talking about $900 is too much. I said, oh, Okay, well, so I found a brand in the U.S. I found a brand in the U.S. that had really great reviews. It's Levoit, Levoit. I On Amazon, I paid for humidifier and one humidifier, one air purifier. I paid like 50 to 100% more for both of them, for each of them. And then Amazon was like, yes, shipping is free, but there's a $30 import fee deposit of $30. So shipping's free. Yeah, you know how they're like, yes, you get free shipping on this item. On the back end, they were like, but give us an extra $30. I don't understand what we're talking about. I have to pay twice as much to get it here than I would in the US. Because I'm buying from Amazon Mexico. Because Amazon US doesn't ship all the things to Mexico. So I'm buying it from Amazon Mexico. It's twice, one was twice the price, one was like 1.5 times the price of what it was on US. I can look at them side by side. Well, I got one on my phone, one on my laptop, and these same things, same company, just different things are different prices. So on Amazon Mexico, the price for one of them is twice as much. One, like I said, is 1.5. And I still have to pay an import fee deposit? Am I gonna get this back? Oh, I'm not gonna get it back. Why are we calling it a deposit? What's happening? So, yes, I have a humidifier. I got it on Amazon from like Amazon Mexico, but didn't come with a. There was no import fee. It was like in whatever. It was not good. It was not good. Mm-mm. Yes, PJ, if you like bougie towels, bring them with you. If you like bougie sheets, bring them with you. Obviously, something about a crunchy towel. Wait, I'm behind. I'm behind in the crunchiness. Yes, Angela, bring your sheets. Mary Dean is reading in Mexican Daily. Vanilla beans in Mexico cost more than silver per ounce. Vanilla beans around the world, very expensive. But Mexican vanilla, you can get it really cheap compared to buying vanilla in the States. But I have questions about why. Yeah, no, I'm going back to Waffle Cat saying she thinks I like bougie sheets. I like nice things. That's me. Hi, my name's Rashida, and I like nice things. But like literally, you get in the sheets and you can tell the difference between like these were bought in Mexico and these were bought in the U.S. I'm not interested. D says she stayed at her friend's house in Tulum and she'd rather take sheets than clothes. Y'all know when you're sleeping in sheets that are just not up to standard. My Costco sheets are perfectly fine. But then, like I said, the bed gets made, I slide into the new sheets, and I'm like, ooh, butter. Just butter. Very nice. Greta King has really bad allergies, so she'd pay whatever she needed to pay, I'm guessing, for an air purifier. If you have bad allergies and you're coming to Mexico City, you should probably try to get an air purifier. We saw an air purifier in IKEA the other day, but like I said, IKEA was playing games. We didn't pick one up, but I got the Levoit one. The humidifier and the purifier were things I wanted immediately because I really wanted to start breathing a little better. It wasn't a big problem, but I'd wake up kind of snotty and I wasn't sure what was going on. Trevor, friend, we don't center men here, even if you're the only one. Thanks for the super chat. I wanted them. If not, I could have flown to the States, bought them, brought them back for cheaper than the overage I paid. If I bought like a budget ticket, right? If I bought a budget ticket. When I was looking at getting a new computer, I could have flown to the US, bought the Mac, brought it back for less than I paid in Mexico. The only thing is, would they catch me at customs and try to, run up a check on me real quick or not? That was the only question. Otherwise, and it was right before Exodus Summit, so there was some urgency to get a new computer because the camera on my actual laptop, hot garbage. Hot garbage. So, yeah. A lot of times it's just cheaper to go to the US, get what you want, and come back if it's an expensive thing. Like if I wanted a new MacBook, I would leave the current one I have, and I would buy one, ship it to my mama's house. Even if I had to pay taxes, because she's not in a tax-free state, it's still cheaper. By the way, the tax rate in Mexico is 16%. Hi, friends. The IVA is 16%. If you're a tourist, you can get some of that back if you fill out the form and do the claim or whatever. But if you're living here, you're not going to get none of that money back. So, unless you lie and tell them you're a tourist. But I feel like Mexican fraud is, I don't want to get my residency taken away. We're going to pay that 16% and keep it pushing. But yeah, taxes on everything. It's the same tax everywhere you go. I think the IVA is the same everywhere in the country. I'm actually not sure about that. But in Mexico City is 16% on everything. Food, snacks, everything. 16%. Computers. But the prices in Mexico typically include that. So like if I look MacBook to MacBook, the 16% in the US, in Mexico, it includes the 16% usually. In the US, it won't. But even if you add the 16%, it's still cheaper to get in the US. It's still cheaper in the US without that 16%. So, or with the 16, if you add the 16%, it's still cheaper in the US. These are things. Okay, so Joan, thank you, Joan. This topic was Joan's idea, and we talked about it on Thursday. And one of the reasons, thank you so much, Joan lives in Chapala. She's a great resource out there. Thank you so much, Joan, for this idea. Joan mentioned, we talked about going to doctors on Thursday on Instagram, @SheToD. Follow me if you're not there already. Because I go live every Thursday and we talk about different things that we talk about here. It's a little bit more casual. Like this is super casual anyway. But we talked about going to the doctor. We talked about going to the doctor and a healthy woman exam in Guadalajara, which includes pap smear, mammogram, pap smear, mammogram, blood work, etc. I think we said it was $115. It was 2,300 pesos. I think that's what you said, Joan. So yeah, $115 to do without healthcare, without insurance. Walking into a clinic and getting it done, paying cash, $115. So healthcare is cheaper generally in Mexico. Now, if you want the bougie healthcare, it might not be. It'll still be cheaper. Never mind. The healthcare is cheaper because the insurance system is just not. It's not like healthcare down here is not run by an insurance conglomerate. So, yeah, it's just cheaper. So even if you went into like bougie healthcare, it would cost less. People aren't leaving the emergency rooms here with like $30,000 bills. Right? That's not happening here. It's not always cheap, but it's cheaper. All right, let's see. Yeah, so Angela asked about Costco. Costco here is pretty similar. Some things are a little bit more. I would say Costco pricing feels very similar, but I don't think, and they have a lot of the Costco brands. I think towels and sheets might not be the same. Similar, but not the same. Um, uh, he says Mexico seems more expensive than Portugal. I've heard Portugal's a lot more expensive. He said taxes are 40% there. I've heard it's more expensive to be in Portugal. I don't know if that's a house. I think it might be a housing and a food thing. I don't remember. But for people who've been in both places, lived in Mexico City and lived in Lisbon. They said that Portugal was much more expensive than Mexico City. But I think it also depends on like what kind of, like I say this all the time, like you have to decide what kind of life you want to live and what that will cost where you're going. You can live very, 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 very cheaply in Mexico if you live like a local. That might mean, maybe, I don't know, uncomfortable furniture, right? It might, I'm not saying for sure, it might mean plumbing where you don't flush with toilet paper. Might. I'm not interested in finding out. Okay, so someone asked about finding plus size clothes of the style of Torrid, Lane Bryant. Are there Mexican alternatives? I don't know them. I don't know the alternatives. I think when you go to the mall, I haven't seen I haven't noticed plus. I think a lot of stores have plus size clothing, but I haven't noticed specific plus size stores. And I've been to a lot of malls. Clothing is something I typically buy in the U.S. So like I typically buy things in the U.S., send them to my mom's house, and either I go up and get them. If I'm going to visit, really I'm just like throwing stuff in my suitcase. If I'm going to visit, I grab stuff, or if she's coming down, I'm like, bring all the shipments from the last 2 months, thank you. And I just buy them and bring them down here. Because truly, like, things are really expensive or really cheap. Clothes, I would say that's where clothes are what you expect, like H&M, Zara, but we already said Zara's 38% more expensive, right? Or H&M was 38% more expensive. So it's the same quality of clothes, we think, right? But they're more expensive here. But like in a range where like you're not going to freak out. But because people here, generally, lots of poverty, lots of wealth, very little in the middle. You find lots of little stores in the middle stores, right? There are lots of them. Lots of like places where you can buy really cheap stuff. And the places where the like wealthy people shop, them price tags, like even like the designer stuff, you're paying a lot more for it than you're paying in the US. So, if you're coming down here to live a bougie lifestyle, it's gonna cost you. If you're coming down here and you're like, I want to live like a local, more power to you. I also hate saying that. I hate saying I want to live like a local, and I'm sorry, but I have said it in this conversation because some people think that means living in poverty, right? And that's when I said it, that's what I meant, and that's not what I should have said because there are a lot of different, like we said, there's a lot of wealthy locals, right? But the American brainwashing has us thinking that everybody in Mexico is living in poverty. So when I said live like a local, I meant live at a very low cost of living, and that wasn't fair, and it wasn't right, and I apologize. That's not what I meant. Like, that's not what being local in Mexico means, right? But if you want to live at a very low cost of living, you can do that. You can do that. You may not like what it looks like. You may not. You may not like what it looks like. But there are definitely different levels you can live at in Mexico. Adelia's talking about cookies in the chat, and I don't know why I don't know what's happening, y'all. We've gotten away from it. B says, I have a 2-floor duplex, including utilities, internet, and prime, dishes, pots, pans, fully furnished, newly renovated, 700 euros, and I live in the Czar. Lisbon is more expensive. Yeah, your rent. That sounds a little nice right now for what you're talking about. That does. It does. I think it's a little cheaper than mine. All right. All right. Oh, no, Sarita, if you're in any major city here, you can get anything delivered. I could get a puppy delivered to my front door if I wanted it. Actually, yes, you can get anything delivered here. You can get groceries delivered. You can get cash delivered. Someone will go get you cash, and then they just charge it to your card. You can get anything delivered. You can get, I was talking to Deli about this week when we were out running around with our private driver. We lots of pharmacy deliveries are like a separate thing here. That is like all the pharmacies have like these delivery drivers driving around on their little scooters delivering their prescriptions, or not prescriptions, and it's kind of wild. I know Angela B. Martin is not in the chat talking about what she gonna bring Adelia. In Rashida Dow's chat, talking about what she gonna bring Adelia when she comes to Mexico. That is not what's happening. What, Angela, you in the chat talking about what you gonna bring Adelia in my chat? What you gonna bring Adelia? So, which one of you do I block? Is it Adelia starting trouble, or is it you, Angela? What's happening? Joan says she's in a small town and she gets her groceries, food, and medicine delivered here. Yes, I think that almost anywhere you can get everything delivered. If you're in like a super, super small town, like it doesn't have a grocery store, you might not get your stuff delivered. But I don't think Chapala is a small town. I think, well, it's a town with a lot of immigrants, a lot of American and Canadian immigrants. And so I think that might help too. But yeah, in most places you can get everything delivered. Delivery is the way here. There was a time, I think starting last January to like January 2021 to maybe like April, I didn't go out at all. I was like, just bring it to me. Just bring it to me. Everything got delivered. Now I'm going back into the stores more. But back then, like everything, food, groceries, everything gets delivered here. Oh, Cece was here at F1 last year. So right after Day of the Dead is the Formula One race, and the energy in the city is insane. So if you're coming down for that, book your accommodations now. Hi, friends. If you're coming down for Day of the Dead in Mexico City or any city, book your accommodations now. If you're coming down for F1, get to clickety-clacking on the computer and start booking stuff now, or as soon as they will if it's like you have to wait 6 months in advance, set an alarm and book it on the day, because it's around my mom's birthday. So 2019, when I was here, I was looking to have her come down for her birthday. I was going to book her into a hotel because, yeah, it made sense at the time. And I was miles and miles and miles from where Formula One was actually happening. And I went to the hotel. I walked in the hotel. I was like, what's the price for this weekend? And they told me, and I was like, what are these numbers? Explain these numbers to me. And they were like, oh, Formula One's in town. Like, we ain't good. We don't, there's no room. There's no room at the inn, honey. Like, Formula One's in town, the prices everywhere. Just, yes. So, I don't know dental work. Dental work is part of my plan. Healthcare. I'm taking care of all of my healthcare needs this month and next month. I don't know the info now, but hopefully I'll be able to tell you. I know a lot of people go to Tijuana for dental work and for healthcare. I know a couple people who've gone there for bariatric surgery, and some people who have gone for other kind of like surgeries and dental work have gone to TJ, but I haven't gone to TJ for anything. I grew up in California, in like Southern California, so like for years we heard how like terrible and unsafe TJ was. You can't like I think it's like what they tell the teenagers, like you can't go to TJ, you'll die. You can't go to TJ, someone will murder you. You'll never come back, right? And so that's like, even though I'm trying to break out of American programming, like I hear TJ and my brain still says unsafe. And I know it's not true, but like when you're programmed to believe certain things, it's really hard to kick that programming, right? It's really hard. So even though I live here, and people always say Mexico City's safe, and I'm like, no, it's perfectly fine. It's safe. It's great. Like that programming from TJ, from Tijuana, is still like, boop, 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 back of the head. It's still in there. So I'm gone in forever. All right. Angela, I'm still not talking to you. So I see you said you would bring cookies, but blocked. Thank you for the super chat, D. Let's see. Okay. Lovely Day says there's a mall next to me in Mexico City that has Sephora, H&M, Walmart, Sears, Sally's, Sam's Club, and Pandora. Wait, I saw which generally Lovely Day. I'd love to know which neighborhood you live in because I saw a Pandora store the other day. I saw a mall the other day in San Angel that had all of those things. So I'm wondering if that's where you live. It might not have had a Sears. Did it have a Sears? I don't remember. But yeah, we saw it and we were like, what's going on with this mall here with the Pandora? Sam's Club, Walmart, what's happening here? Yes. Yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Give us a like if you're watching it. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. We do this all the time. All right. What questions do you have about expenses in Mexico? And then we'll wrap it up. Okay. So Lovely Day said she bought some pajamas for the same price in the States. Yes. The same price. She bought some nice pajamas for the same price. And so if you come to Mexico thinking you're about to come up, you're about to live like a king on $500 a month, your feelings might get hurt, which is the whole point of this video, right? Like, we have to temper our expectations in Mexico and in other countries about what going there and what we hear that our dollars are so powerful, but like, are they really? I mean, yes and no, right? Yes and no. You can buy some things for really cheap, and then some things are going to cost you. Hey, Lucia. Wait. Cece said, I think she's talking to me. Yes, you're the one who saw me during the parade but didn't say hi. Adelia and I met, so Adelia, whatever you need, I got you. Okay, first of all, Cece, I say hi to everyone. So if I saw you, I said hi. If I didn't see you, that's another thing. I say hi. I still want cookies. Okay, so Angela wants to know about cell phone plans and high-speed internet prices, what we should budget for utilities. My utilities, a lot of utilities you pay for every 2 months. So my electricity bill is usually like $10 every 2 months. Water bill, about the same. Gas, a little bit more expensive, maybe like $20 every 2 months. I have a gas stove, a gas water heater. Yeah, the internet, I have high-speed internet. I pay $25 a month. It includes Netflix. $25 a month includes Netflix. I'm still on a US phone plan, but you can get a SIM card down here and it'll cost you like $10 to $20 a month for unlimited Wi-Fi, for unlimited internet and phone and text. If I had a dual SIM phone, I would use both, but because I don't have a dual SIM phone, I haven't figured out the eSIM yet. It's just hard. I need my US number for all of my like accounts and verifying things. And so I haven't switched over to a Mexican number yet. Or I did for a while, but I'm back to my US number. One thing that's really hard here is that Mexico, a lot of companies in Mexico only want to work with a Mexican phone number. They will only call you on a Mexican phone number. Big companies will only call you on a Mexican phone number. And then sometimes those Mexican phone numbers don't work with American companies. And so you've got to figure out what you need to do more. Like there are some things I want to order from Home Depot. Like if I want potting soil, they deliver on all orders over like $25. So yeah, bring me some pots, bring me some potting soil. But the only way to get them to deliver is to put in a Mexican phone number. Right? I was at IKEA the other day. You know, you can get discounts with IKEA Family. They wouldn't take my US number. I needed to have a Mexican number. So those things can be annoying. So if you have a dual SIM phone, or if you don't mind switching out your SIM super quickly to do things like that, it's fine. But a lot of times, even like we have WhatsApp, so everyone here lives on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is really easy to use. And so if you don't have a WhatsApp account, I would say start one now, before you come down here. But if you have a WhatsApp account, it's great. But some things the companies aren't going to, like. Home Depot's not WhatsApping me. They're like, what is the number we can call you at? And I'm like, I don't. So I can't get deliveries anymore now that I'm back to a US phone number. Because then I have to have the Mexican SIM in when I'm actually waiting for them to come. And when deliveries are supposed to come isn't necessarily when they're going to come. It's kind of like an idea. They just call you like, hey girl, we downstairs. So yeah, those things. Okay, I still don't know what. It's time to vote, y'all. Do I block Adelia or do I block Angela? Which one? Which one? Who do I block? Come on, y'all. Tell me. It's got to be one of them because they're still in here in the chat chatting. The chat is not. Somebody got to get blocked. Let's see. Yvette, I thought about car prices this morning. I have no idea because I will not drive down here. We talked to a couple friends this week that drive and they have no problem. One of them bought their car at a pawn shop. She got a great price at a car at a pawn shop. And I'm like, okay, but I don't know. I don't know. Driving down here seems too chaotic for me. No, Adelia, the chat is for chatting with me, not the two of y'all having your private side conversation about cookies. How disrespectful to come on my channel and talk about sweet treats without me. I wasn't even a part of it. Wasn't like Adelia was like, yes, bring some cookies for Rashida and I. Adelia was like, bring me some cookies. What? She's soliciting for food during my live. I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love it. All right, so Angela Rochelle, who is, I believe, just a font of wisdom and fairness. I think Angela's a very fair person that asked me not to block anybody or told me not to block anybody. So I guess I won't. But whatever. Oh, Our Black Utopia. Calling Adelia out. I like that. I like it. Okay. All right. Greta asked about Mexico City. Can you get a building rent in a security building with an elevator, $700 to $1,100? Is that realistic? Yeah. I would say that like a high percentage of buildings with elevators will also have security. If there's an elevator, there's probably also security. Yeah. So I think and you can get a building with an elevator at that price. Child, I was in one of them older buildings the other day in Polanco, and I needed to go see something on the fourth floor. Four floors are high. It was a lot. Do y'all wait? How do I pin this text? Since I'm naming and shaming people here, I'm pinning this. Y'all just heard what I said. Now here comes Cece asking Adelia what kind of cookie she wants. After I already said I was going to block Angela for this. Cece, what did I, besides the fact that you say I didn't say hi, which I'm skeptical of. If I saw you, I said hi. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I just said, I don't like this. Okay, so Winsome Life asks how much for hair braiding. It depends. It's not cheap though. Like most things, the cheap braiding is cheap. If you want nice braids, it's probably going to cost you very much close to what it costs in the US. There are quite a few, but the cheaper braids I see are typically done, or really less expensive, are typically done by Mexican braiders. Maybe they still burn in ends with like the nut, like the thick nub at the end. It's not good. By the way, I baked for Adelia the other day, and she never told me that the cookies are magical and special. I was like, did you eat the cookie? She was like, yeah. And that was it. She just said, yeah, I ate the cookie. But there was no like, oh my God, those cookies were so good. Which even if they weren't, you're supposed to lie to me, right? Because I baked. And I shared. I baked and then I shared. And she was like, I ate the cookie. And there's a lot of displeasure going on right now about cookies. Because Cece is still talking to Adelia about cookies. She ate them for breakfast. Doesn't that speak to my enthusiasm? No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I do. I want that attaboy. I baked. I went to the bougie grocery store, City Market, and bought ingredients for gluten-free. They're delicious though. They're like a chocolate puddle cookie with hazelnuts. Amazing. So super, super chocolatey, hazelnuts. It's like sugar. The cookie is just sugar, chocolate, hazelnuts. It's pretty much all it is. And there was no like, you're amazing. Thank you. I love you. None of that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, they weren't gluten-free because they had some substitute. It's just like for lots of flour roast cookies that are, good. Okay, Winsome is thinking of moving from, your sister's thinking of moving from Jamaica to Mexico. Last time I got my hair braided, you guys saw them on the channel. I had them. I think I paid the equivalent of $190 US. So not like outrageously expensive, but you're not getting like $50 braids here. Greta, Kerrygold butter is in Costco. I say that Costco is inconsistent with what they have. Like one day they'll have something for a month and then you won't see it again for another like 2 months. But right now Costco has Kerrygold butter. So if you're looking for that, they do have it. These are the random things I know. Because I walk through every aisle in Costco. I walk through every aisle. Gotta see what they got. Gotta see it. All right. Yes, Angela, I baked. That's love. I baked just for her and for me. I sure ate a whole bunch of them cookies. Abba got Kerrygold at City Market. So City Market is like a Whole Foods kind of thing. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So Lovely Day does live by the mall. Is it sad or funny or both that Lovely Day mentioned the stores in her mall, and I was like, yes. And Adelia was like, we know which mall that is. You have which stores in that mall? We know that mall. Yeah. And okay, so I say that to say there are a ton of stores. There are a ton of malls all over the place. There are a ton of malls in Mexico City. I won't say it's a mall culture, but there's a ton of malls. And San Angel isn't near where either one of us lives, but we were in the area, we checked it out, and we know that mall. Lots of malls here. All right. Oh, mail. I don't get mail here. The only delivery I've ever gotten, and I'm talking about like shipping deliveries too. The only shipping delivery I ever got that came as expected without any extra fees was a computer from Apple. Everything else, Stephanie sent me something, paid everything. Customs. Opened the box Stephanie sent. Opened the boxes that were inside of the box to see what was in there. And then when they brought it to my house, they were like, and now this is how much extra you have to pay to get it. Like, we're here, but this is the tax amount you have to pay for what was sent to you. Y'all opened the boxes in the box, looked at what was inside, and then ran up a bill. It was like $10. It was like 200 pesos and something. But like, I came downstairs to get my box, and the man was like, did you bring your wallet? And I was like, why would I? They said there's a guy with a box, so I came down to get the box. And he was like, no, baby, you got to pay this amount written right here on the box. You need to pay it before we give it to you. So that's one delivery. That was like a DHL delivery to me, or FedEx. I think it was whatever it was the same shipping company that Apple used, but when Apple used it, they didn't open the box. When Stephanie sent it, they were like, hey, let's get some fees. When I got mail, there's something wrong with my credit cards. So I called the credit company, and they were like, boom. American Express was like, we got you. We're going to fix it. We're going to do this. We're going to jibbity jabberty, and we're going to fix some stuff. And we're boop, 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 booping. We're sending you new cards. We're sending you new cards. So they're like, we have to confirm that this is the right address. So they go in their system, and they look, and they're like, I'm telling them the address, and we're like, okay, we found this in the system. Whatever mail system they use to confirm an address, they went in the mail system and confirmed the address. Boom. Boop, boop, boop. Those cards never showed up. Because when they reached I don't know what shipping company they used. When they reached the Mexico side, they were like, oh, that address doesn't exist. I get bills here. The only thing that comes to me in my mailbox is bills. Because they get like slid inside your mailbox. I think they come and then they slide them in. I don't know if it's the like apartment complex that slides them into everybody's different mailbox, or whether there's actually a postman that does that. I think it's the apartment company. They slide them into everybody's mailbox. I get bills. I could get mail, but they're like, no, that address doesn't exist. And I'm like, I know it exists because I can get delivery. Like, my furniture got delivered here. Home Depot knew how to find me to get my fridge and my washer dryer here. They know how to do that. But when the credit card company when it got to Mexico, the delivery company was like, that address does not exist. I'm like, I verified it. The credit card company verified it. But the delivery company was like, ooh, no. No one's ever used the cards. I don't know if they got sent back to Amex or what happened. So it's not like it's not like someone's using the card. It wasn't fraud. I don't know what it was, but those cards never showed up. So I don't believe in the mail here. I just saw Adelia say that she has to pay $20 to get $100 worth of clothes. I tried to order something from another online company, and it was before I went to Canada last year. So I was like, do I ship the stuff to Canada because I'm going to be up there and I can get it there, and I'll bring it back with me, Um, or do I ship it to my mom's house and just have her bring it down? Or do I ship it to me? Because the company ships to all these places. So I looked at the prices of things. Like, are the prices equivalent all the way around? No, they're more expensive in Mexico. But I want them, so let me ship them to me. Let me just go ahead. I ship them to me. Because the shipping rate was fine. Boop, 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 boop. The company was like, hey girl, we're so excited that you're going to buy these clothes. But before you do, there's going to be a customs fee. You're going to have to pay it. We don't know how much it's going to be. In fact, we're not even going to guess. We have no idea how much the customs fee is going to be. Now, yes, we were talking about how we ship to over 100 companies. That's right there. We shipped to over 100 countries. We shipped to over 100 countries, blah, 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 blah. But when it came to Mexico, they were like, we literally have no idea how much you're going to have to pay to get these clothes. You're going to have to pay to get these clothes. Why would I do that? Why would I buy something with no idea of what the additional fee to get them will be? Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, so I don't ship things. Like if I want to get anything like clothes, even like if you guys are familiar with Amazon The Drop, like that's their staple line, like they have these staples. Most things on Amazon The Drop, it's the exact same thing. They're available on Amazon Mexico, they're available on Amazon US. The exact same thing in Mexico is often 50 to 100% more expensive. Why would I do that? We know what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to ship it to my mom's house. When I come back, next time I'm coming down or she's come down, I'm just going to cut the tags off and bring it into the country. Why would I do that? Wear it one time, bring it down. Because they're only like charging you for new things or things that they think have value. If they think they're your clothes that you're wearing, they're not going to charge you. If they think you're bringing something down for resale, at customs will charge you. Kim, okay, so I hear about question about important mail a lot, and we have to ask ourselves, what's important mail? Like, what's important that you get in the mail? Every once in a while, something will come in, and I'm like, okay, I need to think about that. So, a check came in the other day. I've missed quite a few checks. I've had to have them reissued because I'm not there in the 3-month window the check is good for. Right? So every day I ask my mom to go to the ATM, go to the bank and deposit a check for me. And then if mail comes in, she'll send me like a photo of it. So that's the same thing you could have a mail forwarder do. You could go to one of those like mail forwarding sites or a global mailbox they have, and they will take photos of your mail and send them to you. Virtual mail, that's what I'm looking for, virtual mailboxes. You can do that, but most people who do that don't use them for long because they realize most of the mail they get is trash. Most of the mail we get in America is just trash. Yes, so Waffle Cat has a service that will deposit a check for you. Can you share the name of that service, Rosanna? Of the service that will deposit a check for you? Yeah, my mom is my virtual mailbox, and if she leaves, I'll do something else. If you brought in a Louis Vuitton purse, not new, will they charge you a fee for that? No. Now remember, there's a lot of money here, so there's a lot of Louis. There are like 2 Louis Vuitton stores within like 3 blocks of each other here in Mexico City. No, it's not necessarily the price of something you're bringing down. It's do they think you're bringing it down to resell it? So even if you come down with 10 purses, if you tell them like, I'm going to be here for 6 months or I live here now, they're probably not tripping. If you come down with like 12 identical pairs of shoes in a shoebox, all in shoe boxes, or like all these things with clothing tags still on them, you might get charged. I've never been charged at customs for anything, but I cut the tags off of everything before I bring it down. If it's in any like packaging, I take it out of the packaging. Nothing looks new in my suitcase. Because I'm not reselling it. Like I can take the tag off because I'm not selling it. I'm going to wear it. If I haven't worn it already, I'm going to wear it. So whatever. Um, Kim, I like credit card. Okay, I also didn't tell my credit card company that I actually live in Mexico. Hey, American Express. Um, so, uh, like I said, I would have loved to get that delivered to me, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'll have to get my credit card shipped to the U.S. and have my mom bring them down or someone else bring them down. But I don't. I'll do that. So Lovely Day is using traveling mailbox as well. So a couple people are using. Rosanna has traveling mailbox, um, and Joan Hardy has a virtual mailbox service. So how do okay? My impression was that for checks you could only deposit if you're going to do. This is a question for Joan and anybody else who uses mobile deposit. I used to love using mobile deposit, but I thought you had to take a picture within the bank app. So you had to have the actual check with you. And that's what I never have. I don't have a check with me, so I can't take a picture in the app. Are you able to like deposit a photo, like use a photo that maybe like the mailbox service sent to you and use that in the app? I didn't think there was a way to do that. So I'm trying to figure out how you deposit checks unless you're getting checks in Mexico. Are you getting checks in Mexico, Joe? Or are you getting them sent directly to you? Lucia, what was your question? Oh, about dogs? Was it about the big dog? Okay. Um, there are areas where you can get a yard. Coyoacan is an area with, there are yards. Living space is at a premium in Mexico City if you're paying for a place with a yard. If backyards, you're probably paying quite a bit. Backyards aren't traditionally a thing here. Most people here are in some version of an apartment. And so most big dogs here live in some version of an apartment. We see people with like big dogs in apartment. So it can happen. It can really happen. So the outskirts are more, you know, you can find places. But depending on where you want to go, backyards are premium. There's lots of parks. You see lots of big dogs in parks, right? Not backyards, not so much. But there are different neighborhoods that have backyards, but because there's a limited supply of backyards and a lot of people in the city, if that's what you want, you're probably paying a premium. All right. Oh, Joan is so much smarter than all of us, at least me. She used the photo from the virtual email box, the virtual mailbox. Sends her a photo, and she displays the check on her computer, that photo on the photo, and takes a photo of the photo on her app to deposit it on the thingy app. So she has a photo of a photo. Excellent. All right, Mary Dean says, would it be possible to live on a $1,200 retirement budget on the outskirts of Mexico City, living a simple life? I don't think you need to be on the outskirts. I think you can do that. But if I was living on $1,200, I don't think I'd want to be in Mexico City. It's doable. It's doable. Mexico City is one of the more expensive cities in the country, so I'd probably want to be somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd want to do that. All right. Cash or credit, which is better. There are very few places that don't take credit cards, but like I went to the furniture market the other day and I was like, y'all take credit card? Because I had no cash. You have to take credit cards, and the only vendor that took credit cards was like who sells fur. All the furniture people were like, you can transfer money to our bank accounts. And I was like, I don't have a local bank account, so that's not going to work, right? Local bank accounts make everything easier. It's really easy to put money into people's bank accounts at like the OXXO. You can walk down to any OXXO and put like cash in someone's bank account. That's easy. But they're like, you know, on the app, on like a banking app here, I could transfer to somebody else's bank account. But I can't do that because I don't have a local bank account. Um, but most places, if there is a roof above, they take a credit card. I think that's probably the best way I could say it. I went to one place. I've only been to one vendor inside of two now. Two vendors inside of a physical building that did not take credit cards. One was Adelia and I stopped to get Chinese food when we were at the mall the other day. IKEA's in the mall, a new mall. And the Chinese place didn't take credit cards. I'm assuming it's tax fraud. I mean, who sells food in a food court and doesn't take credit cards? It's weird. Like there's a Subway right there and a Wingspot and all of the other like places we know. It's weird that you don't take credit cards. Because I've never seen a mall vendor that does not do that, right? And then the other place, I had it and I forgot it, that did not take credit cards. I was inside. I can't remember. I had it and I've lost it. Where was I that did not take credit cards? Outside at the markets, random Chinese food place in a mall food court, and something else. Now, outside is very, if you're buying things on the street, it's very cash heavy. So the answer to your question, Kenya, is both cash and credit cards. Cash and credit cards. You could live a credit card free life here. You can't live a cash free life. But you can live a credit card free life. You can pay cash for everything. In Costco, lots of people are paying for hundreds of dollars of food in cash. Yeah. So, yeah, but where else was I that did not take? It was some weird place where I was like, really? Oh, I went to get my clothes tailored at a place in a very, in the posh part of my neighborhood. I'm on the outskirts, less posh, but like in the very posh part of my neighborhood, I went to get some clothes tailored, and they were like, "You came here with cards? Baby, give us the cash." And it was a chain store, which made it very weird. Hey, Corinne, my good friend is here. Hey, baby. IKEA takes credit cards for delivery. They were only taking Mexican credit cards for delivery, but I've heard, I haven't checked it out, but I've heard they're now accepting American credit cards for delivery. But delivery is like, whatever happens, happens. Yes, I'm in Nuevo Polanco. All right. Corinne asked what's the website where you can figure out how much it costs to live based on your preferences? Picky Girl Travels already wrote The Earth Awaits, and also Numbeo.com are two places. Numbeo has more cities, but I think the information is a little bit easier to digest on The Earth Awaits. Hey girl, it's so good to have you here. It's weird because I haven't seen you in like forever and a day. I haven't seen you since I left the Bay Area in 2018. I miss you. But I love seeing your adventures online. LLO, you want to know about the process of taking the bus to Querétaro or San Miguel de Allende? I'm making a video about that because I filmed the whole experience yesterday. So I thought I was going to have it for you by Tuesday, but I won't. I don't think I'm going to have it by Tuesday. So maybe this week or end of this week or next week, I'll have a video about the experience. You can, but you can buy tickets online, or you can buy, most people who are leaving Mexico City to go to San Miguel or Querétaro are buying tickets in person day of. So I've never, except for like a Friday evening going from Mexico City to San Miguel, I've never seen a bus be sold out. There's always spots available because people buy it same day. So you don't have to worry about buying bus tickets. And hopefully I'll have a video in my next. week or two. It'll help you with like the process. All right. Oh, I miss you too, Coco. All right, let's see. Have we? I feel like we've covered it, and my stomach's growling. I think we've covered it all about expenses, and my stomach's growling. So I think it's time to end this. Thank you, everyone, for watching today. Yeah, Kenny, in that video, I'll walk you through the bus station so you see like how easy it is to do in person, etc. I got you. My dear friend, I'm gonna show you. My friends love me. She made me tea. So I'm drinking tea. And she also went to the supermarket this morning and made a whole extravaganza of fruit for me that I didn't get a chance to eat before the video and I didn't want to eat live. And there's yogurt with granola in here. My friends love me. I feel so loved. She's been downstairs doing stuff. All right, y'all. I'm saying goodbye. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thanks for all the super chats. If you're watching on the replay, hey, so happy to have you here. If you're not already subscribed, press subscribe. If you have not given it a thumbs up, what are you waiting for? Thumb it up. Like it. You like me, don't you? You really like me. Anyway, sweet thumbs up. Yes, thank you for watching, Lisa and Angela. Yes, she's a very, very sweet friend. I'm gonna go thank her and lay up on her couch. This place is gorgeous. I'll on Instagram, I'll post some photos from outside and stuff. You'll see. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for being here. Bye.